Constantinople, a name that echoes through the annals of history, a city that has witnessed the rise and fall of empires. Even the name resonated with power, a beacon of civilization and grandeur. For centuries it had been the greatest city in the world, a melting pot of cultures and ideas. Perched on the edge of Europe, it controlled the vital waterway between the Black Sea and the Mediterranean, a strategic gem. Merchants from across the known world crowded its harbors, bringing with them goods, stories, and knowledge. This was the heart of the Byzantine Empire, the inheritor of ancient Rome, a symbol of continuity and resilience. Constantinople was more than just a trading hub. It was a vibrant center of commerce and culture. It was a beacon of culture and Christianity, a place where faith and art flourished. Its magnificent buildings like the Hagia Sophia were architectural marvels, standing as testaments to human ingenuity. The city housed countless works of art and literature, remnants of a glorious past that inspired generations. To stand within its walls was to stand at the crossroads of history where East met West. But by the 15th century this glorious city was a shadow of its former self, its splendor fading. The empire was shrinking, its armies weakened, struggling to hold on to their legacy. Around them, new powers were rising, eager to claim the prize of Constantinople for themselves, each with their own ambitions. The most powerful of these were the Ottoman Turks, led by a young and ambitious Sultan Mehmed II, whose eyes were set on the city. He would stop at nothing to take the city and fulfill his destiny, forever changing the course of history. The Byzantine Empire had once been vast and powerful. It saw itself as the continuation of the Roman Empire in the East. For centuries it had held off enemies from all directions. Across the Bosphorus, the Ottoman Sultan Mehmed II watched Constantinople with hungry eyes. He was a young man, barely 21, but he possessed a sharp intellect and an iron will. He had inherited the ambition of his forefathers, to conquer Constantinople and extinguish the last embers of the Roman Empire. Mehmed was a skilled military strategist. He spent years preparing for the siege. He strengthened his army, amassing a force of over 100,000 men. He commissioned the construction of massive cannons, the likes of which the world had never seen before. These weapons would be key to breaking Constantinople's legendary defenses. The Sultan's obsession with Constantinople was not just about military glory. He saw himself as a world conqueror, a successor to Alexander the Great. Taking Constantinople would cement his legacy and make him the master of 2 continents. It was a prize worth any price. In the spring of 1453, the Ottoman army arrived at the walls of Constantinople. The sight was terrifying. Row upon row of tents, stretched as far as the eye could see. The air vibrated with the sound of drums and the chanting of soldiers. The final confrontation was about to begin. The defenders of Constantinople were vastly outnumbered. They had only around 7,000 men to face the might of the Ottoman army. But they were determined to fight for their city, their faith, and their emperor. They manned the walls, their courage bolstered by their belief that God was on their side. Then, the bombardment began. Mehmed's giant cannons roared, hurling enormous stone balls against the city walls. The ground shook, and the defenders watched in horror as centuries-old fortifications crumbled under the onslaught. The walls of Constantinople, once thought impregnable, were starting to give way. For weeks the siege raged. The defenders fought with incredible bravery, repelling wave after wave of Ottoman attacks. They used every weapon at their disposal, from Greek fire, a deadly incendiary liquid, to simple stones hurled from the walls. But they were tiring. One by one the outer defenses of the city fell. The Ottomans, under Mehmed's relentless leadership, were gaining the upper hand. Finally, on May 29, 1453, a critical section of the walls gave way. Ottoman soldiers poured through the breach, and hand-to-hand fighting erupted in the streets. The last Byzantine Emperor, Constantine XI, led the final defense. He knew all was lost, but he refused to abandon his city. He died fighting alongside his men, a tragic but heroic figure. With the emperor dead and the city overrun, the Byzantine Empire after 1,000 years came to an end. Section 6. A new power in Europe. The fall of Constantinople sent shockwaves across Europe. The news spread rapidly, causing widespread panic and fear among the European nations. A great Christian city had fallen to the forces of Islam. This event marked a significant turning point in history. Many feared that this was just the beginning, that Mehmed would sweep into Europe and conquer Rome itself. The anxiety was palpable among the European leaders. The balance of power had shifted, and a new empire, the Ottoman Empire, was now a major player on the world stage. The rise of the Ottomans was swift and formidable. Mehmed entered Constantinople in triumph. His entry was a grand spectacle, symbolizing the dawn of a new era. He rode through the streets, his soldiers cheering, and claimed the Hagia Sophia as his own. This iconic structure was transformed into a mosque. He allowed his soldiers 3 days of plunder, a customary practice at the time. This act, though brutal, was seen as a reward for their efforts. But Mehmed was not interested in simply destroying the city. He had grander visions for its future. He wanted to rebuild it, to make it the jewel of his empire. His ambition was to transform Constantinople into a thriving metropolis. He encouraged people from all over his empire to settle in Constantinople, inviting a diverse array of cultures to the city, bringing with them their languages, customs, and religions. This influx of diversity enriched the cultural fabric of the city. The city, once the heart of Christendom, became a melting pot of cultures. It was a place where East met West. It was a testament to the Ottomans' ability to create a vast and diverse empire. The legacy of this transformation is still evident today. Section 7. The Renaissance rises. The fall of Constantinople had another less obvious consequence. It helped to spark the Renaissance, a period of great artistic and intellectual flourishing in Europe. As the Ottomans conquered Byzantine territory, many scholars and artists fled westward, carrying with them precious manuscripts and works of art. These refugees found refuge in Italian cities like Florence and Venice. They brought with them a renewed interest in classical learning, in the art, literature, and philosophy of ancient Greece and Rome. This sparked a wave of intellectual curiosity and creativity that would transform Europe. The Renaissance marked a turning point in Western history. It was a rediscovery of the classical world, a time of great artistic innovation, and the birth of humanism, a philosophy that emphasized human potential and achievement, and it was, in part, a consequence of the fall of Constantinople. Section 8. Echoes of Constantinople. The fall of Constantinople continues to resonate in our own time, echoing through the annals of history as a momentous event that reshaped the world. It is a reminder of the ebb and flow of history, of the rise and fall of empires, and how the past is always present in our lives. It is a cautionary tale about the dangers of internal division, and the need for unity in the face of external threats, a lesson that remains relevant today. And it is a story of courage, of the brave men and women who fought and died defending their city, their legacy living on in the heart of Istanbul. Today, the city of Istanbul, as Constantinople is now known, stands as a bridge between East and West, a testament to its enduring significance. It is a vibrant, cosmopolitan city, home to people from all over the world, a melting pot of cultures and traditions. Its history is a tapestry woven from the threads of many civilizations, Roman, Byzantine, Ottoman, and Turkish, each leaving an indelible mark. The fall of Constantinople was a pivotal event in world history, a turning point that marked the end of the medieval era and the dawn of the Renaissance. It marked the end of one era and the beginning of another, a transition that reshaped the cultural and political landscape of the world. It is a story that continues to fascinate and inspire us, reminding us of the enduring power of the past to shape our present and future. Section 9. What changed the world? The fall of Constantinople was a seismic event. It reshaped the political landscape of Europe and the Middle East. It led to the rise of the Ottoman Empire as a major power. But perhaps its most significant impact was the way it helped to spark the Renaissance. The influx of Byzantine scholars and artists into Italy brought with it a treasure trove of knowledge and ideas. This helped to ignite the Renaissance, a period of unparalleled creativity and intellectual ferment. The Renaissance, in turn, laid the foundation for the modern world, influencing everything from art and science to politics and philosophy. So what changed the world more, the fall of a city, or the ideas that were carried from its ruins? It is a question worth pondering as we reflect on the legacy of Constantinople and its enduring impact on human history.